custodial centers in Nigeria is critical, with over 84,000 inmates currently housed across 256 facilities. About 70% of these inmates are awaiting trial. The Nigerian Correctional Service is addressing severe overcrowding through the construction of new 3,000 capacity mega centers in each geopolitical zone and promoting non-custodial measures for lesser offenses. Recent government initiatives also include an audit of inmates to facilitate decongestion and improve conditions. However, systemic issues such as delayed justice and inadequate facilities still persist, prompting calls for comprehensive reforms from lawmakers and stakeholders alike. Welcome to 30 Minutes on NTA News 24. This edition is on reformation of inmates. I'm Lydia Sampson. Behind Nigeria's custodial walls, where punishment meets hope, a few inmates are forging new lives in overcrowded aging facilities. These individuals defy the odds, finding purpose, education, and skills. In this report, Victor Azu leads us to explore their journeys, showing how even in the harshest places, change is possible. Over to you, Victor.
In the heart of our cities, behind rusted doors and looming walls, are stories seldom told. Here, in Nigeria's overcrowded custodial centers, thousands live in limbo, awaiting their day in court. Now, these awaiting trial inmates make up more than 70% of those confined behind these bars. For most, these centers were built in the early 1900s. Became relics that struggle to uphold even basic humanity. Observers ask, are these walls built only to punish, or is there space here for redemption? The answer came in 2019, when the Nigerian Correctional Service Act redefined the mission. Imprisonment now seeks to go beyond punishment, aiming for reformation and reintegration. Yet, while some facilities may get a facelift, the real transformation lies within. What awaits those who dream of a second chance?
Behind these cold steel walls, time stands still. But inside, some find new horizons, building, dreaming, and reshaping their destinies.
Here, punishment meets potential. The infrastructure might not change much, but it's what happens within that redefines fate. Take Chiwendo Hart. At 34, he's spent 12 years in Kuje Custodial Center, accused of homicide. A mistake he admits has cost him more than his freedom. Yet, in this stillness, he has found a new path. He has earned a bachelor's degree, a master's, and even written 5 books. Every page, a step closer to self-redemption. Today, calls for Chiwendo's pardon grow louder. His story proves that change is possible, but it's not always easy.
National University was introduced to the center, and it was scholarship. So I took that opportunity and I enrolled. I've done my first degree. I have BA in Christian theology, and I've also concluded my master's degree. I'm waiting by the special grace of God. I'm not wanting to stay here more, but if fate still have it, I intend enrolling for PhD. I can build a website from the scratch. I learned website development, and it was also here I took opportunity of the computers that are in the educational units, and I became literate.
Then there is Christian Picado. For him, the gates of jail first felt like the end, but in time, they became the entrance to a new craft. Tailoring taught him more than just the skill of mending fabric. It gave him purpose. Stitch by stitch, he pieced together a new life, creating a legacy he thought was lost.
I studied entrepreneurship and business management. So from there, I was unable to finish it. My case finished before my graduation. So coming out I was given opportunity to be going there until I studied and finished. I have my BSc. This work I am doing here is there that I have learned it. I'm also an artist. If you go in there also, you see some of the things I created on the walls. Those drawings, I am the one that created them inside that place. So some of the skills also are still landed there. While I was there in the missionary aspect also, it happens for me to be pastor inside that place, and I was also Catholic president in that particular place where I was there.
Ehimel Sahon found his chance through learning. Charged for distributing cannabis, he served 5 years, a stretch that could have buried his potential. But he didn't let it. Through the inmate education program, he earned a master's and even began a PhD, tuition-free.
Immediately I left the 4 walls of the correction, an NGO picked me up, gave me accommodation and gave me a job. But barely a year and 6 months, we could not continue, so I was asked to go. Though the NGO still accommodated me till early this year before I left them, even when I was not working with them. So I was able to survive, bring in my family, put my 3 kids into school again. But when I left the NGO, things became bad. Running PhD without job for 2 years. Even though I have job and have money, no difficulties to run the PhD program. Though it's tuition free, there are other expenses that comes with it. When writing a seminar, now I don't have a laptop, and most of the work is done online. So I have to go and beg friends for a laptop whenever I want to present or whenever I want to work on my seminar. Getting data, going to school at times to see my supervisors and my this thing. Well, I don't want to give up.
And the heartache doesn't end there. His wife, once his anchor, left with the children, leaving him to grapple with a loneliness as sharp as his sentence. Ehime's story reminds us that redemption takes resilience, and sometimes the world beyond these walls offers the harshest trial of all. Not all stories end with triumph. For every success, there are countless inmates who fall through the cracks. Overcrowded facilities, underfunded programs, and the scarcity of trained staff mean that opportunities for transformation are hard to come by. Even when programs exist, many inmates never get the chance.
The university education, courtesy the National Open University of Nigeria, is free, is tuition free, and is available for all the inmates. But you know, that program is an online program. It depends solely on data, using the net to to access your course material, to do your research and all of that. And by virtue of the fact that inmates are in custody, the access to some of these facilities are limited both deliberately and of course by virtue of their confinement. Deliberately because you don't want them to go surfing on the net and acquiring some information that may be detrimental to security of the service. They are in confinement. They have time for study, they have time to go to bed, they have time to do, in fact, all their activities are regimented. So to that extent, the available time they have for study may be limited. The access to study materials may also be limited. And again, the issue of overcrowding is another problem. When you have overcrowding situation, space available for them to access study material and actually do the studying becomes a huge issue. For instance, if you have a facility that is meant to carry 500 inmates, and in that same facility you are having close to 1,800, you can imagine how that will impact on even their emotional comportment, their stability to even concentrate. Because if you don't sleep well in the night, if you don't have good exercises, you are not mentally organized and stable enough to do studies. It becomes a huge problem.
And now, despite the uphill battle, individuals persist. From dedicated volunteers to social workers, they believe that even one life turned around is a step toward change.
They have paid their dues. Now they need an opportunity to show us who they have become.
They happily embrace all the programs we employ in their behavior modification. However, the challenge we have is with the society. The issue of stigmatization has actually, not spoken well of the society when we talk about the inmates that are finished their jail term. Because you will see where inmates have finished their jail term, they are well trained, either educationally, they are well equipped with the skills they learn in our custody, but upon discharge, when they go back to the society, the public find it difficult to receive them, and which is not good, because once you don't receive them, you are only encouraging them to go back to their crime life. Because upon the expiration of their jail term, they are given these tools to assist them in resettling back to the society. Those who learn barbing are given tools that will help them resettle back. Those who learn welding are given the tools that will assist them in doing their work outside the custodial center.
The journey to true reformation is long and filled with obstacles. But with the right support, it's a journey worth taking. Every small victory, whether stitched, studied, or scripted, brings renewed hope that redemption is possible, even in the most unlikely of places, one step at a time.
Our next report by Ibrahim Bello Gunda is about the overwhelming data on the overcrowding of correctional centers and the causes of overcrowding. Why do inmates spend long years awaiting trials, sometimes longer than their eventual sentences? What can be done to significantly decongest the custodial centers? Ibrahim Bello Gunda sought answers.
According to Rob Allen, a consultant on prison probation and youth justice, overcrowding is defined as the percentage of the occupancy rate that is greater than 100%. The percentage of inmates held by a correctional facility defines the facility's occupancy rate and how overcrowded it is. In Nigeria, the custodial center of the Nigerian Correctional Service have overshot their combined carrying capacity, a development that has continued to overstretch the system with challenges despite having 244 facilities, including 20 farm centers, 10 cottage industries and 1 open camp, and 4 Bostel hostel training institutions. Latest data available on the Nigerian Correctional Service website shows Nigeria has an inmate population of 83,030, which comprises of 81,104 male inmates and 1,846 females. Out of these figures, only 27,199 inmates have been convicted, out of which 26,740 are male and 459 female inmates. The data also reveals that 54,831 are awaiting trial, with 54,444 males and 1,387 females, meaning the percentage of convicted inmates stands at 33%, while inmates awaiting trial figure is 67%. With 98% male and 2% females.
Manner of persons are taken into custody once they are alleged to have committed offense. And that is not what it should be, normally, according to the standard minimum rules, UN minimum rules on non-custodial measures. Pre-trial detention should be a measure of last resort. But what you find out is that everybody that has been alleged to have committed an offense is sent into custody. So that is where our problem begins. Now, in terms of processing them, in most cases, once these people enter into custody, the normal thing is to process them quickly and ensure that trial begins. But that does not happen, and that connects to the office of the DPP, that is Ministry of Justice, across the states, within the federal, Ministry of Justice too. What happens at that level is that there's expectation in some cases that there should be what we call legal opinion. And when this legal opinion is not coming quickly, it means that the persons that are detained in custody will remain in custody.
It's not every crime that should be prosecuted, and For the judiciary, if you look at it, the hands of our magistrates are overwhelmed. You have so many pending cases that we need to revamp the entire judicial system. We need more hands and on decks, and we need to optimize the systemization in the sense that crimes that doesn't deserve longer term in terms of punishment, other swift measures could be implemented. But basically, we have to deal with administrative concern. We have to deal with even the question of adjudication of the criminal justice system. The two components all compound for us to have high rate of high volume of people being detained without a trial.
A report by the Nigeria Bureau of Statistics shows that overcrowding of correctional facilities is due to inmates serving time without being sentenced, with cases frequently dragging for years without resolution, with 7 out of every 10 inmates awaiting trial. These stakeholders say is not healthy, as correctional facilities in Nigeria are overcrowded, with some states having 2 inmates per space intended for 1, due to prolonged trial period, especially criminal trials, which takes 4 to 6 years to conclude, leading to increase in the number of inmates awaiting trial.
Corruption equally causes the big problem because ways and manners people are processed. Like you see what is provided for in our law, section 35 of the Constitution, talks about the time frame within which somebody that has been arrested can be taken to court. But you find out that because there's a limitation on the number of hours that you can keep somebody within the arresting agency's facility, they now like 24 hours in normal cases and 48 hours when the court is above 40-kilometer radius, from the detention place. You find out that they now utilize the exception in that section 35, that is subsection 7, which says in certain cases, in certain charges, this person can be kept beyond that time. So you find out that somebody that may have committed a simple offense is alleged to have committed murder, has armed robbery, kidnapping, banditry, to ensure that they keep that person and keep going back to the court, as the ACJ Act has provided, remand proceedings. Take 14 days, go back to court, apply for another 14 days. And remember, while this is happening, these persons are still in custody. You now see the reason why our correctional centers, at all times, you find out that the persons awaiting trial are like 70%.
They advise that to decongest custodial centers in Nigeria, the culture of arbitrary daily street raid by Nigerian law enforcement agencies, frequent dragging of cases, among others, must be looked into.
Investigation should come before arrest, but we are turning it upside down. The criminal justice system should take note of that there must be investigation, and if you find something incriminating and feel that this person has a case to answer, that's why you get to the next stage. Not once a report or a complaint has been made, you rush and get the person arrested, dump the person and say, let me go and find evidence. The criminal justice system for all the agencies is like a chain. They are all connected. If one part of the chain, if the police is not doing its work, even if the judiciary is doing 1000% work, it can never work. Neither with that of the Ministry of Justice. So, but you find out that there seem to be running different races.
We need to now have a holistic approach. First of all, we need to have complete data. We've had incidences of people that are not inmates that cannot be accounted for. So we need to have a complete data, and it should be transparent. Most times we encourage, in our laws, we have various provisions of the Administrative Criminal Justice Act that empowers magistrates, the chief judge, to embark on routine visitation. The scope of such visitation should be expanded to include media houses, to include lawyers, so that people will be able to have first-hand information of what obtains in our prison. Then it should be a deliberate policy. Already we now have it, and that is what informed the change of name from Nigerian Prison to Nigerian Correctional Services. It's not every crime that should go with prison terms. Some crimes should have other mode of punitive measures, like community service, like things that would rather send the message that yes, somebody is being punished for a particular act, but it doesn't necessarily mean you must be kept in the confine of a brick wall.
We are told that your case file cannot be traced. And you've been here for more than 3 years, 5 months, having so stayed without trial, without being arraigned in court. Feels adjudged that you should be released. You are hereby released to go and be of good behavior.
They called for overhauling of the Nigeria's criminal justice system, among others, to ensure quick dispensation of justice.
You see a prosecution that has taken 5 years, then all of a sudden, the officer that has been responsible will be taken out of jurisdiction. Then a new officer will need time, energy, resources to now even assimilate into what the prosecution is all about before. So that they should devise a means. Anybody that is handling a matter should not be transferred easily. Even if it's transferred, they should create an avenue so that the matter is handling, depending on the nature of it, he can always be called back with necessary incentive given, so that at least let him conclude on a particular, both for the judge, both for the prosecutor, let them conclude a particular matter before going to the maybe being elevated or being transferred outside jurisdiction.
Everything about the criminal justice system is about security and safety. And when you talk security and safety, it's for the general public. So everybody should be responsible regarding the criminal justice system in this country, because we are all beneficiaries. And where I am headed at is court of public opinion. People, even when you advocate for the utilization of non-custodial measures, people on the streets have that mindset that the only way of correcting people is by sending them to custody. And as long as pretrial detainees are more than convicts, the sole purpose of corrections is lost. That idea of reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration cannot happen.
Stakeholders believe that exploring non-custodial measures in Nigeria's justice system will go a long way in also decongesting correctional facilities, as well as save costs of operating the facilities.
Indeed, decongesting correctional facilities and reforming inmates can significantly enhance public safety and reduce relapse. With rehabilitation-focused programs such as vocational training and cognitive behavioral therapy, inmates can acquire skills that facilitate their reintegration back into society. These reforms not only benefit individuals but also promote healthier communities by breaking the cycle of crime and supporting families affected by incarceration. Thanks for watching. We'll return next week with another edition, God willing. Bye for now.